Whereas now the focus in this edition is on the markets. The markets are trading on a volatile terrain. The Nifty index is trading in red with the cuts about 20 points, around 24,550. The Sensex is also in red, down nearly 100 points. The index is below the 80,100 mark. Well, that was a large overview. And as the markets are reacting, my colleague Malvika Pandey will also give us more details and precisely share how exactly the markets are trading today. Malvika, over to you.
Well, Simran, what we can see over here is that markets have, of course, opened, and what we're seeing is quite a volatile run. There has been a lot of changes, as you can see this graph going over here. And what we're seeing is that the Nifty index, in fact, if we look at the Nifty over here, it is trading in red with cuts that are close to almost 20 points down today. And as you can see, there is quite a fall that is being witnessed. All the highs and lows that we can see over here, a 20-point change, which of course keeps changing. It's a 25-point difference right now, and the Sensex over here that we also see, it's down over 100 points, a 120-point change that we see, a difference that we see today with the Sensex, both and the Nifty both are going through a very volatile changes. Right now, points are down for nearly 100 points on an average for the Sensex, while for the Nifty, the point difference is down on an average of 20 points is what we're seeing over here. Yes, Simran, back to you.
Well, all right. In fact, now joining me live on the broadcast is senior economist Mr. Akash Jindal. Sir, appreciate you joining me this morning. How do you look at the markets today, as these are very crucial events to watch for today, as bilateral talks with the Singapore counterpart of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also going to take place. There are also developments on the GST that could be expected earlier in the coming weeks as well. What is your analysis of how the Nifty is trading, as the GIFT Nifty was flat at 24,619 as this at this point in the morning of around 6 a.m.?
I think what is happening with the Nifty is, on one way, it's one side, it's US tariff, which definitely would have a negative impact on some of the Indian exporters. That's troubling Nifty. On the other hand, what we have gained is, during the SCO summit, our Prime Minister's visit, our now business relations with China are going to be much, much better. Our business is going to be much better with Russia and Japan. And the basic thing is, perhaps going ahead, there's a possibility of rupee yuan trade also, because now our relations being better with China, possibility of business increasing with China. I think number one, a rupee yuan trade may start. Number two, there's a possibility that the huge deficit which India has with China as far as trade is concerned, that should be reduced. So I think that would be positive for the Nifty. As far as US is concerned, US actually, they themselves don't know why they have imposed tariffs. Because what is surprising is, initially when reciprocal tariffs were announced, that time what was said was that India was having high tariffs. That's why they had announced reciprocal tariffs. India was having a high difference in the trade and the balance of trade. That's why they had imposed reciprocal tariffs. Now all of a sudden, August, US changed its mood. They said, India, they have imposed high tariffs on India because we are buying crude oil from Russia. So firstly, US needs to decide what is the reason for imposing tariffs. They have not been able to decide the reason till now. Secondly, now assuming hypothetically, even if we stop buying crude from Russia, then what happens is, we'll go to international market, though our government is not going to do so. But assuming hypothetically, if it is so, then we'll go to the global markets. Once we go to the global markets, what's going to happen is, in global market, crude oil, open market, OPEC plus, the crude oil is going to boil like anything. Crude oil prices are going to increase like anything. And that is going to negatively impact, firstly and foremostly, US, because they are already suffering from inflation. They have been victims of inflation right from the start of Russia-Ukraine war. When Russia-Ukraine war started in June of 2022, US, the inflation was as high as 9.1%. So now I think GST is one hope for the markets and economy of India. Because in GST, What we are expecting is that two slabs may be done away with, and there may be only two slabs. Now, what it means is, if there are only two slabs, prices of many goods would reduce. Once prices of goods reduce, India, remember, is a price sensitive market. Demand for those goods is going to increase. Once demands increase, then what happens is our GDP growth would increase, employment opportunities would increase, income tax would increase, and viewers may be surprised. The view of my organization, akashjindal.in, is even GST collection is not going to go down because volumes, sales are going to increase. And see, going ahead, we are going to have a Navratra and Diwali month after some gap. Now, Navratra and Diwali means bumper buying of flats, real estate, automobiles. That's going to be the reality. So that can be very beneficial if we can do away with two slabs of GST and if there can be only two slabs. So now we are waiting for the GST Council. Let's see what is decided in the GST Council. And if there are only two slabs, that's going to be very good. Now coming to export diversification, yes, India is trying for export diversification and we have got success also. As far as the UK is concerned, we had a tie-up. Now we are going to have a tie-up with EU also. Plus, there are many other countries which we are looking forward because global south is going to.
I appreciate your deep insights and putting things into perspective, how we look at the state of markets and today at the business of trade. Thank you very much for joining us.